Welcome to the Thinking Green News Moment. I'm Chris Schneider, and today my guest is James Paling, professional engineer at First Supply. Welcome, James.
Thank you, Chris.
Tell us the environmental benefits of radiant floor heating.
Well, the biggest benefit that we get out of radiant floor heating is the lower water temperatures that the system can run at. The lower the water temperature, the higher the efficiency of the system. So the effect of radiant floor is greater comfort and higher efficiency.
What is coefficient of performance?
Coefficient of performance is a rating that's used for heat pumps. It's the ratio of the output energy divided by the input energy. In ground source heat pumps or ground coupled heat pumps, we typically look at coefficients of performances someplace between 2 and 6. A coefficient performance of 6 is 6 BTUs of output energy for every 1 BTU of input energy. So the higher the number, the better the efficiency of the system.
How is R410A different from R22?
Well, the greatest difference between the two, these are both refrigerants that are used within an air conditioner or also within a heat pump. And the biggest difference is that R22 has chlorine involved in its molecule, whereas R410A does not have any chlorine. Chlorine is the gas that is considered to be a deterrent to ozone in the atmosphere and one of the leading causes of ozone depletion.
In a geothermal heating and cooling system, what is the benefit of a single pipe in a trench?
Well, the biggest benefit of using a single pipe trench system is that you can avoid all sorts of obstacles. You don't have to worry about whether that 200-year-old oak tree has to be removed so you can put the ground system in properly. You can work right around those kind of obstacles.
And what are the benefits of slinky field piping?
Well, the benefit of the slinky field piping is cost. It's typically a system where you just bulldoze everything out of the way, bury the pipe 6 feet deep, and then replace it. But anything that's in the way is gone. So you trade off what the area is going to look like for the next 10 years for cost.
What are the benefits of vertical borehole piping?
Well, the biggest benefit of a vertical borehole is the very small space that it takes up. Vertical boreholes can be put on residential lots within cities because, in fact, they only have to be spaced 10 feet apart from each other and they go down 150 feet. So we can put in an entire system in a space that's 40 feet long by 10 feet wide.
James, what are potential problems for lacrosse installations?
Well, basically the largest problem that we have is the actual mismatch between heating and cooling. We basically have 2,400 hours of heating requirements where we only have 250 hours of cooling requirements. Now, what that does is we're really relying on the thermal capacity of the ground within 6 inches of the pipe for the actual heat transfer into the house. As we can take that heat out about 4 times faster than the ground can regenerate it. So as we move into November and December and January when the weather is very cold, the ground is no longer able to keep up with the heat being withdrawn. The ground gets colder to the point that we finally reach a point where the ground gets to below 32 degrees and we start to form ice around the pipe. At that point, the system starts to have its coefficient of performance degrade very rapidly, most manufacturers recommend turning the system off when we get to this point.
James, what websites do you recommend people take a look at?
Well, the website I'd like people to look at is www.the1supply.com, which is the website of my home company.
What can Fox viewers do tomorrow for the least amount of money to have the most positive environmental impact when it comes to heating and cooling?
Insulate, insulate, insulate. Back in the 1970s, houses were built with an R12 wall and an R24 ceiling. R value, basically, the greater the R value, the greater the insulation. Today's walls are built to an R18 value and the ceilings have an R40 value. So the best thing we can do is to stick more insulation up into the attics.
Thank you, James Paling from First Supply Company. I'm Chris Schneider for the Thinking Green News Moment.